Didn't expect you for a few more days.
Hey everybody, what's up? UltraMag64 here, and I am proud to bring you guys the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Special Edition 3DS XL. Now, contrary to the older 3DSs, this is the new 3DS. It comes with a circle pad and a few extra buttons, a little bit of under the hood tweakings, and other things like that. So once you open the box up, you will notice that you get the nice handy dandy instruction booklet thing that nobody ever reads ever. Yeah. And then you also get some handy dandy AR cards, which nobody also uses ever. Yeah, but they're adorable looking. Look, they got Nintendo characters. You got Mario, your Zelda, your Kirby, your Samus, and all that jazz. Yeah, awesome. And then once you peel back the cardboard shell, you will find your shiny new 3DS XL. Mine is the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Edition, so it's got that brushed aluminum look and it's all nice and cool. And here you have your nice shiny new 3DS. Honestly, in all personal opinion, I actually like my 3DS very much. It's very nice, very smooth, looks really cool. Now, one thing to note is you won't get a charging kit with this 3DS, so you're going to have to buy your own. Moving on to the system itself, here is the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate 3DS XL. Personally, I feel it kind of looks almost like it's made of fur, but also it has that brushed steel kind of look to it. It's got designs all over the place. The stylus is on the bottom of the screen along with the game slot cartridge thing. And then you also have the buttons, which look like SNES buttons or SNES buttons. And then you got the analog nub, which in my opinion I don't actually like that much. I've used it for about an hour now and I kind of don't know if I like it that much. You can see my face right there. There's a home button, start mess select, all that good stuff. It's just awesome. Everything's been rearranged and in my opinion it looks rather nice. And then up top you got your new buttons. I think they're ZL and ZR, and then the charging port and all the other doodads. And there's another look at the back of the system. It's awesome. So moving on, we're about to get into the system transfer section of this video. You're going to need a 0 Phillips screwdriver. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Then you need a new SD card. I'm using a 32 gig for this demonstration, so yeah. Alright, so first up what you're going to do is obviously open up your 3DS XLs that you have. You don't have to have two 3DS XLs, you just have to have a 3DS, both of which you need to have. So just have two 3DSs available at you. There you go. And first up, what you're going to want to do is boot up the new 3DS XL, go through the initial setup process. This takes roughly a couple minutes if you're fast enough. If not, then just whenever you get done with it. It's a relatively painless process. It even demonstrates the new face tracking 3D, which is so cool and hip these days. I'm never going to use it, ever. And yeah, just set the time, date of birth, all that good stuff, name it. I'm going to name it what I always name it, Magnus. And then just set your birthday, set your region, and there you go. Now you're also going to want to connect it to Wi-Fi. Make sure that both systems have Wi-Fi on, because if you don't, then you can't do this process, and you're kind of up the creek without a paddle. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is once everything's all updated and all that jazz, make sure you're running the latest update for the new 3DS XL. What you're going to do is go into the settings and update the software. Once that's done, you're going to want to go all the way back into the settings menu, hit other settings, then scroll all the way until you see system transfer. This is very important. Alright, now transfer over to your old 3DS XL and go ahead and hit the system transfer from 3DS family, hit accept, and then click send from this system. Make sure you click that button, otherwise this is going to get a really messy process for you. So go ahead and hit that. I accidentally hit the wrong button. but go ahead and hit that. And then read what is on the screen right now. Alright, and do the same for the new 3DS XL, except what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit the second option, which is receive from Nintendo 3DS. Alright, now go on back to your old 3DS XL, and then what you're going to want to do is enter your Nintendo Network password. And then it'll find the new 3DS XL unit, and you'll go ahead and confirm that this is the target system, and then you're going to move over to the new 3DS XL, confirm all that jazz. Yes, if you can't tell by this point, yeah, we're going to be moving between both systems a lot, so keep that in mind. That's why I have different colored systems, so you know. Alright, go ahead and read all this gobbledygook. This is basically telling you that the source system's memory will be formatted, deleting all data. So, make sure that when you're doing this, you know what you're doing. If you don't, you can end up losing some games. Also, make sure that while through this process, you have a completely charged both systems. If you haven't completely charged them and they die, you are in deep, deep trouble. So make sure that they both are charged adequately enough to handle this. Alright, and once you hit the transfer button, then you go switch over to the new 3DS XL, and go ahead and hit delete. Yes, I know, delete's a scary word, but trust me, you're just going to want to follow me on this. It works flawlessly. So go ahead and hit that delete button. Yeah, I know, it's scary, but you're just going to have to trust me on this one. Alright, once you've hit that delete button, everything's all kosher, and you have to remember, if you've used any other microSD cards on this system, then you're going to have to go through a step that I didn't have to go through. However, I did not, so I'm peachy keen. Alright, so now you go ahead and you're going to move the DSiWare titles to your SD card. If you don't have any DSiWare titles, don't worry about this step. It's just for those of us who have kept a freaking amazing amount of DSs in the past. So, yeah, I'm going to move over a couple of my games, and then it'll be all good to go. Now, as you know, the 3DS XL actually uses SD cards, and the new 3DS actually uses microSD. So what this means is you're going to have to go through a bit of a process. We're going to swap out both SD cards and replace them with ones that'll work. Now, what we're about to do is we're going to go through the PC route. There are other ways to do this, such as wireless transfer. However, the PC, in my opinion, is the fastest and the most painless. Alright, and then go ahead and confirm that you have been using an SD card on here. If you've been using anything else, I don't know what to tell you. Also, quick side note, if you've been using one of those micro SD cards that have an adapter on them, then you're all good to go. You just have to pop that baby into the SD card slot in your back of your new 3DS XL and you should be good to go. This is just basically running down what's going to happen and what you're going to have to do. Basically, like I said, we're going to transfer files from one SD card to the other. And I know that system transfer sounds like a busy, hard to understand process, and it kinda is, but I'm gonna try and make this as painless and easy for everyone as possible. So go ahead and click the move option now, and it's gonna start moving all your stuff over. Now, this is why I told you to charge your system, because this can take a long time. Personally, mine took about 20 minutes, and you cannot put your systems into sleep mode, so they have to be on the entire time. And that might not seem like a lot, but again, depending on how many titles you have and how much data you've got on your 3DS, this can take a heck of a long time. So just to be safe than sorry, make sure to charge those systems. Alright, and now that you've finished off with the transfer should be complete. Just remember that you can only perform a transfer every week, so make sure you've done it right to the right system. If you haven't done it to the right system, then you're gonna have to wait a while. But once that's all done, the system will reboot, and then the fun begins. So basically, we're actually done with your old 3DS at this point. You can go ahead and turn it off, set it to the side. Just make sure you don't chuck it out a window just yet, because we need to get the SD card out of it. So once the system reboots, it's going to connect to the internet and just kind of sit there for a minute. And now it's going to tell you to remove the SD card from the back of the system. Make sure you do this because we're about to transfer your DSiWare titles to your new 3DS. Alright, so first step is power off the new 3DS XL. Then grab your Phillips Zero screwdriver and go ahead and remove the two screws attaching the back to the system. Now, don't screw these off too much. They actually won't pop out of your system, so don't worry about losing them, but don't strip them either. So, once you've got them all loosened up, go ahead and take your nails or the back of the stylus and go ahead and just rip that baby off. Just make sure to be careful because you don't want to bust the back of the system. So, once you've gone ahead and removed the wonderfully back plate plastic right there, you're going to see the battery, the stylus, and a small circular thing. That's actually where the micro SD card is held. So go ahead and pop that baby out of there. And you're going to notice it's a 4 gig, which we don't need for this time being. We're going to use a 32 gig. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your old 3DS XL, go ahead and open that little flap that has the SD card in it, pop that bad boy out, go ahead and grab it, pop the slot back into place, and there you go, you got your all set to go. Well, let's go over to the computer, and we're going to do the normal 3DS right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these files. Now you don't actually have to copy all these files, you actually just have to copy the Nintendo 3DS. I just prefer to keep everything in one place, so I just decided I'm going to copy everything. Now this can take a while, since mine is about 4.33 gigs of data and all that. It took a long time, so just be prepared to wait a while. Alrighty, once everything's all copied over, go ahead and eject the full SD card out of there. Then go ahead and pop in your micro SD. You're going to need a adapter for this, so make sure you have one. Now go ahead and just select everything over there and just copy it over. Alrighty, and now that everything's copied and all ready to go, go ahead and exit out of that window. And you can actually go ahead and remove the SD card. I personally prefer to do it the safe way, but you could just yank it out of there. I wouldn't recommend it, but who am I to judge your computer? So go ahead and eject it out of there, and then go over to your new 3DS XL. Go ahead and pop your new SD card, or the same SD card, depending on which one you used. And go ahead and pop it in there, pop it back into place, and then go ahead and boot up the system. Now once you boot up the system, you're going to be greeted with a familiar screen. This is where you move all your DSiWare titles to the system memory. This can take a while, so depending on how many DSiWare titles you got, you might be in here for a while, so just, again, make sure your system's fully charged. Alright, once that's done, you are essentially done with the system transfer process. First, I just want to show you guys that the system transfer did work. It's completely my old system. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Magnus. There was a Monster Hunter Ultimate for you in that new 3DS. Where is it? Now you want to head to the eShop if you have any downloadable games that come with your system. You're going to want to head all the way over to the other or settings screen, or just tap the big orange menu button up there. And then scroll all the way down to settings and other. Then you're going to want to scroll all the way down to re-downloadable software. Once you're in there, it's only a matter of time until you find what you've got. And for me, personally, it's Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, so I'm going to go ahead and re-download that software. And once that's gone ahead and taken care of, as you can see, I've got plenty of blocks to download all the games that I need. So go ahead and hit download. I'm going to personally hit download later because I'm going to put this in sleep and then edit this video. So yeah, going to play Monster Hunter when this is done. Awesome. And then go ahead and exit out of the eShop and you're good to go. Now then, I bet you're wondering, wait a minute, we need to put that back panel back on. Don't want your 3DS running around without pants on, do you? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put that 3DS panel back on. It kind of snaps into place, so just make sure everything's aligned right in the right spots, every hole's in the right orifice and all that jazz. And then you're going to want to go ahead and grab your Phillips screwdriver because it's screwing time once again. Just make sure everything's popped into place. You should hear a slight snap. And then go ahead and take your Phillips screwdriver and just screw those in. Remember, don't screw them too tight, otherwise you could potentially strip the screws, and that wouldn't be good for anybody, so just make sure to be careful with that. And once you're all done, you're done. That is the initial setup and system transfer process for the new 3DS XL. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm UltraMag64, and I'll check you guys on the flip side. Bye!